So hello friends, today we're going to talk about map group with state and flat map group with state. Okay, so let's begin. So as you can see, I have created two programs from the same book which I have discussed in the last video. So we have this rack state example and rack info. So these are two case classes. So this is the example of the map group with the state. Okay, as you can see it here, which is in line 76. Okay, I'll share everything with you, and this code is all running. If you want, you can ping me to ask me for the files. Okay, input files. That definitely you can prepare it, which I have discussed this with you in the last video. Then there is a Java program created. Okay, this is a Java program, and you just need to write the JSON. Okay, the JSON which is there in the this one in the book. So all the JSON, if you write it all here, it will going to create the files accordingly. Okay, so let's quickly start with the map group with state. Okay, so this is what the code, I'll explain you from the start. Okay, what this code means. Okay, so let's start with reading the file. Okay, so I have created, so as I have told you that we have two case classes, rack info and rack state. So rack info contain rack, okay, the temperature of that rack and the timestamp, and rack state contains that ID, okay, high temperature count when it reaches that high temperature, okay, the status, last timestamp, okay, is it within the time threshold or not, because if it is exceeding that temperature, we need to show that, and did both the condition met. Both conditions means within the timestamp, within the time threshold and high temperature count condition met, or maybe greater than equal to 100 met. Okay, so I mean, if the temperature goes above 100 and temperature is within the threshold, okay, whatever we have said, so if the both condition met, okay, this will become true, and the temperature. Okay, so I have created the schema as IoT data schema with the rack temperature and TS. Okay, and with the rack temperature and TS, this is the location where I am reading all the files. So here you can see it's JSON file. I can put n number of files here based on the file 1, file 2 and file 3. Okay, I am filtering that the temperature should not be null, otherwise it will going to throw the error while converting into the rack info. So I have the data with this schema, okay, rack temperature and the timestamp, and I'll show you what I'm doing in these two methods. But before that, what I'm doing is I am grouping by the rack IDs. Okay, and so I don't know when the data will come. Okay, it will come in batches, right? So what I'm trying to do is, there is a method map group with state. Okay, what it will do is it will going to create a single output. Okay, so the main difference between map group with state and flat map group with state is that the output, okay, depends on the output. So output will be your in map it will be only one, but in the flat map you can have multiple outputs. Okay, that's the only difference. Other thing is like why we are using it, this map group with the state, because we want to maintain the state of the user. Okay, so we don't know whatever the data it has sent previously to the one we currently have. Okay, so we want to compare that both the data. Okay, so that's why this because in the Windows time, when we were doing the tumbling window and the sliding window, we have the Windows limit, right? We know when the data came and when the data went out. Okay, but here we are tracking based on the activities or based on the temperature change. Okay, so and we don't know, I mean, what temperature it reaches at what window. So just to avoid this, we have this map group with the state, because you want to see the other states, okay, of the data. So that's why this syntax is simple. It will going to have the old one and the previous one rack state, which is nothing but your schema. Okay, this is mandatory, no timeout, and then you will going to call the update across all the status. Okay, and once you call that, it will going to, we will going to see what will going to happen after that. And this is the code where I am just selecting all the data and writing it to the stream, okay, with the update. Why update? Because earlier also I have shown you what is the difference between update and an append. So in the update, whenever the user, whenever there is a change in the data, it will going to come up every time. Okay, no change, no data. But in the append mode, it will going to show you the data only at the time when the window end or the session ends. Okay, so that's the only difference with update and append, and you don't have to think anything apart from that. So let's discuss this update across all state rack. Okay, let me open this method, and what I'm doing, what I'm seeing is, so this is all common. Okay, template is all common. So I'll see the old state first. Okay, old state, whatever the data it has contain old state, and if it is a fresh data, then it will going to create a new rack state for us with the default values. I am sorting it by the timestamp. Okay, and so what I'm doing here is I am updating the rack state. Okay, and I am updating the old state, old state. Okay, old state dot update of that rack stack. So whatever the update has happened, I am going to update that in my old rack state, so that the next time when it come, it will going to have that fresh data. Okay, and I'll return the rack stack. So let me show you what I'm doing it here. Okay, this is all running. You can copy that and run by your own. So what I'm doing in the update rack stack is it has two inputs, rack state previous state and the new state. Okay, and this is last timestamp. If the rack state has the timestamp, okay, otherwise it will going to get the data from the rack info. This is the previous state. If it has the previous state data, okay, fine, otherwise try to fetch it from the new state. Okay, similarly within time threshold, if the new data timestamp is less than minus the last previous timestamp, which is less than 60 minute or 60 seconds. If it is less than 60 seconds, then make it true or false. Okay, so what I'm saying is new timestamp minus old timestamp. If it is less than 60 seconds, make it true. And meet condition here is if the high count is less than 1, okay, true, otherwise whatever the value we have in the within time threshold. Okay, so meet condition will be, initially it will be true because high temperature count, sorry, it will be false because high temperature count will be 0. Okay, 0 is less than 1, it will be true. Initially it will be true. Next time based on the because initially it should be true, right? Otherwise next time based on the 60 minute window timestamp difference, then it will going to come up. Okay, greater than 100, temperature is greater than 100. So these all things are here, and what I'm doing is I am passing the temperature is greater than 0 and the conditions are met. Okay, condition met means the high temperature less than 1 and the difference between timestamp is less than 60 seconds. So if these two are met, this is true and true, then it will going to come inside case true and true. And if it is not, then it will going to show us as a high the timestamp as or the high temp count is 0 and the status is normal. So this is a new high time count and this is the status. Okay, otherwise it will going to increment that high count. Okay, status would be if the temperature exceeded more than 3, then it will be warning, otherwise it's normal. So this is nothing but the creating the object of the rack stack, okay, with all these values, true and false, and with all the rack IDs and everything. Okay, I will going to return that, and it will going to come here as a rack stack, and that state has been updated. Okay, old state to new state. Okay, so as you can see here is this is rack 1, initially is high count is true, met condition is true. Okay, so it is normal, whatever the timestamp that we have passed, and greater than, so it's 98.3, so less than 100, so it is false. Okay, next time in the next batch it processes the same data. Okay, but in the other batches, based on the temperature and the rack IDs, it will going to show up the data accordingly. Okay, you can try that with your own. See, this is greater than 100 temperature, so it's true. Greater than 100 is true. Met condition is true because the initial times, I mean the new timestamp data minus, so this one minus this one is within the window less than 60 seconds, so it will going to say the condition as true. Okay, or maybe the high count is, what was the other condition? High count, right? High count was, okay, high count is less than 1, no, it's greater than 1. Okay, so maybe I was right that it is checking based on the timestamp. Okay, and similarly, yeah, true, so this is 2. Okay, so similarly you got the point, right? So with the, if you want to see the states update, you can use this method, map group with state. Okay, next, in the next video we are going to see flat map with group state.